All right, so we've now got ready to assemble all of this together. We just finished the bechamel sauce. What we've got in front of us is we've got one of these it's a black baking pan. It's about probably 5 inches deep, 4 or 5 inches deep, and it's oval. It's oval shaped. We're gonna use that, and deep dish is good to have because you want like if you want a nice thick piece, that's what you do. We do have our eggplants over here. We have our potatoes that have been drained. These are raw, right? These are still hard. These are gonna cook in when we bake it. And the reason we didn't cook these is that I like the potatoes to absorb all that flavor out of the meat sauce. It's just gonna be amazing. I did take the time and grate it up, 400 grams of, which is a block, one of those blocks you get at your grocery store, of mozzarella, because I like the stringy and chewiness of this, and I like that in there. But that's not the only cheese. We're also gotta get some good Greek cheese, some feta, and we're gonna also put in some Parmesan cheese. Don't forget, we still have our bechamel sauce. It's gonna go on the top at the end. And one of the most important parts, this beautiful meat sauce that actually has those eggs that we beat up and put in there. So, like building a lasagna, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a layer. Before we do a layer, let's get some olive oil. Get some olive oil in here. It's about greasing the pan. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get these eggplants, and I like to have them overlapped. At least have them touching, right? At one point. So when you cut into it at the end, after you're ready to eat, you at least don't end up with, just hitting the pan at the bottom. So getting a layer of these eggplants, putting that in, putting this in. We got a little more spice, a little piece there, maybe get a little one. Put here. So you got a layer of eggplant, okay? Done. Now what we want to do is put a layer of our meat sauce. So just so you can see this, what I'm doing, I got a good old ladle, right? Put the pan right beside it, touching it, so you don't have any spills or minimize the spills. And we're gonna bring in some of our meat sauce. Probably gonna use half of it here. Okay. Remember, this has egg in it, so while it looks watery now, it's still gonna be a little watery, but the point is that it's got egg and it's gonna help it bind after it cooks. So, add some meat sauce. Bravo, like that. Shake that up. Maybe a little more. Okay, got that meat sauce there. First layer. Let's go with some Parmesan here. Just spreading it around. Spreading it around. It's always good to do this. See, if my father saw me doing this, the first question he'd ask me is, Christopher, did you wash your hands? And I'd say, yep, Dad, I did. Don't worry about it. Next, I'm gonna get some mozzarella. Just sprinkle a little bit of this in here. Get a layer of that going. Remember, this is a middle layer, so I don't need a ton in here because there's gonna be sauce. And now, what I wanna do is take some of the potatoes that we've got, and we're gonna put the potatoes, we're gonna spread those out. You don't want to pile them all up. You just want a layer of them, okay? Because we're gonna pour tomato sauce over this. That's gonna help cook those potatoes, and those potatoes are going to absorb a lot of that flavor. So this is where we use all the potatoes here. I'm just trying to evenly spread them. Okay, so that every slice of moussaka has some nice starch in it as well. So we got those potatoes there, right? Done. Done. Next layer. I'm gonna go Oh, almost forgot. Raw potatoes. Need to season them. I'm going to season these. Some salt. And some pepper. These should be like on, should have like a tool belt for your salt and pepper, because you always gotta use them so often when you're cooking. Have like a holster or something to put these things in. Anyway, we got that. Now, let's go. We're gonna make a nice thick layer of eggplant here now. Going here, get that beautiful browned eggplant. You can see we're filling the pan up here. We're filling it up. Get rid of these paper towels. And that does it for our eggplant. What's the next layer? Yes, it's the meat. It's the rest of this meat sauce. So we're gonna go over, put some meat sauce. I'm just gonna dump this in here. Scrape out all that goodness. When you smell this sauce, you're not gonna wanna waste a drop of it. Done and done. Now that we got that, just give it a little shake like this. Help settle it and even it all out. Now, let's finish off the cheese. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm not going to use all of this yet, but we will, but just not right this moment, but we're using most of it. We are going to use most of this. Spread that. Spread that. There we go. Save that little bit. Put the Parmesan. Nice layer of Parmesan in there. Get all those crevices that you can. Okay. And last but not least, or not last, but getting there, we now want to put on our bechamel sauce. So I'm going to first get a spoon, just give it a stir, because the top, when you stir it, starts setting. Just make sure it's all stirred. In fact, I'm going to stir it, but I want to use, like I used earlier, one of those spatulas. So, we got this spatula. Gotta wash it. Back from my good old days as a dishwasher at the Monte Carlo restaurant in London, Ontario. Now we're gonna take this bechamel and we're gonna spread it over top. Look at that. It's just nice and thick. This beautiful white sauce. If you haven't had bechamel, it's so simple to make. You can use this even as sauce for like your cauliflower as a side. Add a little cheese into your bechamel and you got like a beautiful cheese sauce. You do so many things. just have it and dip your bread in it. If that's your thing, if you like to just dip bread in things. We're getting all of this on here as well. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just trying to spread this slowly or carefully. It's slow for me is careful. So I cover every part of the top of this with this beautiful bechamel. Nutmeg, with a hint of nutmeg in it. Okay. We are almost done this moussaka. Just over here a little more where that cheese is. Here we go. A little more here. Just make sure it's touching the outside. I'm almost sealing it in here. Okay, so that's our bechamel. Final step here is a couple things. The remainder of that Parmesan. We only have a little bit, but you know what? Let's evenly just try to dress a little bit on the top. Just a little bit like that. Let's get the rest of this cheese and slowly get that over top. And then for the beautiful piece here, we take our Greek feta and gotta drain it first. You always have to drain your feta. If you don't like breaking it up, simply just get a fork, and with your fork, even while it's in its container, just start pressing and breaking it. It actually crumbles so much easier with a fork. You can cut it up and cube it. In this case, because we're wanting to spread it, we want it kind of small. So as you do this, get your fork in there, break it up, and then press against the wall of the container, and it just makes it into nice little bits, smaller bits. Hey, if you get some big ones in there, it's okay. That person who gets that piece is just gonna have another better hit of feta with every bite. So we're almost done. We're just gonna keep going on this. Almost, we're getting there. Breaking this stuff up. And almost there. Wait, just make sure, I'm just gonna stir. Make sure there's no other big pieces in there. Like really big pieces. It's okay if there's some big chunks, but just want to make sure I didn't forget any bites, or sorry, big blocks of it. Okay, I think we're good. Let's just start spreading that out along the top. When this feta cheese melts, it just melts and gets soft and creamy. There's some beautiful salt on feta that'll just bring another level of seasoning to the top layer. This is gonna be amazing. We're gonna enjoy this a lot. Do that again. Get it all out there. And all right, I think we're in good shape. The very last thing before we put this in the oven, remember that nutmeg? Like I told you, to come back to it, and we're going to put some on the top. Yeah, someone who's got a sweet tooth might come by this and think it's tiramisu, you know, with some good old, you know, cocoa on the top. We just want some nutmeg like that, and we're ready to bake.